Hey guys, so today I want to talk to you about proper breathing technique while singing. I have been taught a couple of different breathing techniques, and the one I'm going to tell you about today is the one that I have had the most success with. I feel like it gives me a lot of breath support while also leaving my voice free to be able to do whatever it needs to do. So whenever it comes to breathing while singing, what we want to do is we want to fill up our lungs completely. Downward, forward, backward, just get as much breath in as we can. The first thing I want us to do is just take a really deep breath, just a normal deep breath. For a lot of us, whenever we take a deep breath, a lot of that is focused kind of here in our chest, or maybe there's some shoulder movement whenever we're breathing. So first of all, there should not be any shoulder movement when you're breathing while singing. The only thing that that's going to do is take away energy that you could be using when you sing. I can move my shoulders without breathing. I can breathe without using my shoulders. So shoulder movement should be eliminated. The other thing is whenever we take that deep breath and we feel it up here, what we're doing is we're only using just a small capacity of our lungs. So I want you to place your hand right here and take that deep breath again. So some of you may not feel your chest expanding whenever you breathe, and that's perfectly fine. I just want you to be aware of how you naturally breathe. So the next thing I want you to do is to take these two fingers and find your lowest two ribs. Now whenever you find them, we're going to take a deep breath, and I want you to feel your hands expanding as you breathe. Okay, let's do that again. Now, if you don't feel your hands expanding, then go ahead and stop the video and just practice that. What you're trying to do is just focus on filling up your lungs completely. That includes downward. Let's go ahead and try that again. So find your lowest two ribs and take a deep breath, noticing your hands expanding. Again. Now, whenever you're breathing and expanding your lungs downward, you'll notice that around where your stomach and ribs are in that area, there will be some expansion. Now, a lot of people would call that breathing with your diaphragm, but that's not technically true. Now, the first reason is that we obviously breathe with our lungs, not with any other part of our body, and that's pretty obvious. But the other thing is that our diaphragm is an involuntary muscle, so that means that no matter how much you try, you won't be able to move your diaphragm just by thinking about it. The only way that you can move your diaphragm is if you fill up your lungs move downward, and they push the diaphragm down because the diaphragm is right underneath your lungs. The next thing I want us to do is to find our lowest ribs. And this time, whenever we breathe in, we're going to hold that breath for 2 counts and then breathe out. 1, 2. Again. 1, 2. Now you don't have to count out loud whenever you're holding it. I'm doing that just for your benefit, but if you're doing this alone, you can just count in your head. It's a little bit harder to hold it while you're counting out loud. Now the next step, which is actually the breathing exercise, would be to find your lowest ribs. This time we are going to breathe in, hold it for 2 counts, and then whenever we breathe out, we're going to hiss. Now whenever we do this, we want our hands to stay expanded. So let's try. Find your lowest ribs. Let's breathe in. 1, 2. Now if you notice, whenever I was hissing, my hands stayed expanded. The only time they went back down was whenever I was finished and I just let all of the air out of my lungs. Let's go ahead and try that again. 1, 2. Okay, so that is the breathing exercise for the breathing technique called Appoggio breathing. This type of breathing is going to help you to get as much breath support as you need to expand your lungs, and it's also going to allow you to sing freely. Now, we're filling up our lungs completely whenever we use this technique, but when we're singing, we're not using all of that air. We're getting a lot of breath support, and we're also getting the expansion that we need for singing. So the actual phonation is not using up all of the air in our lungs. We don't want to do that. We want to remain expanded, have good breath support, and use only the breath that we need. So again, this technique is called Appoggio breathing. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful for you. If you have any questions for me, go ahead and comment below. And don't forget to practice this exercise every day. I wouldn't do it several times in one setting. I would do it maybe 2 or 3 times. You don't want to get lightheaded or anything. But once you are able to sing while using this Appoggio breathing technique, you will find that you're singing with a lot more power, a freer voice, having the breath support that you need. You will really benefit from this technique.